ready.
They say they need to ban the podcast equipment and take y'all mics away. And oftentimes when I listen, I agree.
For real talk.
Hey, man, just because we know people don't mean that they know things. A lot of us was in the same classes with some of these folks. That don't mean they were passing these classes.
All the time.
It ain't the world leaving you behind, man. It's your line of thinking. You think the science stopped evolving because you stopped learning, and it don't work that way. I couldn't imagine voting for somebody who thinks identifying with me is identifying with a felon. That's crazy as hell. I'm Mr. Spann, and I'm approving these messages. This is the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 68 of the report. And this is no longer the reports, man. Damn, bad habits die hard. Oh, man, bad habits die hard. But this is number 68 of the show, man. And, this is the second time I've talked to you guys in the last few days, man. I think the last time was, what was that, Sunday. So it hadn't been that long, man. And, but it was some things that kind of came up over the course of the week real quick. And because I've been at home off of work, man, I've been, feeling like, I need to probably clarify some things and talk about some things and, kind of give guys and fellas and ladies a heads up on, what this show is going to be about going forward and everything. Like, I feel some changes coming. I feel some changes are in order for what we got going on over here, man. But of course, before we get into all of that, I got to remind you how to get in touch with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. There's area code 313-288-0485. Leave me those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here and responded to here live on the show. And if you're watching us here live on Facebook and or YouTube, you can chop it up with your man Spann live right here, man, at area code 313-288-0485. You can also hit me up on Bluesky. My name on Bluesky is mrspann.bsky.social. Mr. Spann, all one word, .bsky.social. Hit me up there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. And you can also do that at Threads and Instagram. My name is Mr._Spann. And, like I said, you can go there, chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. I am also on Fanbase. My name on Fanbase is Mr. Spann as well, Mr._Spann as well. But Fanbase right now, we'll probably get into it a little bit later. But Fanbase needs some work. If I'm being honest with you, man, Fanbase needs some work. And I'm all about supporting my peoples and whatnot. But yeah, man, Fanbase needs some work. And so I know it's not a lot of I don't know a lot of people that's over there. As a matter of fact, about the only person I'm familiar with that is over on Fanbase right now is probably Roland Martin. And that's about it. The rest of them folks over there, I ain't never seen, man. They complete strangers. I ain't never seen these folks. It's just one lady, like, they just keep popping up in the algorithm, man. It's hard to search for motherfuckers over there. It's a whole thing, man. So Fanbase, man, I'm gonna need Fanbase to get their shit together. Okay, but yeah, man. So like I said, I know this is like a bit earlier in the week than I would hit you guys up with normally, but like I said, there's some things I kind of want to get into, but also, damn it, I'm all over the place tonight. Hit us up on YouTube, man. Hit us up on YouTube, and subscribe to us on YouTube. The channel is the Spann Report on YouTube, man. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment on the videos. We appreciate you guys who do that. Is one way to put down for the show, man. And also hit us up on Spotify and iTunes with those 5-star reviews. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. And you can also check out our store and copy yourself some merch, man. We got some nice stuff over there. The link to the store is always in the show notes. So if you want to go copy yourself some Mr. Spann gear, or the Spann Report Podcast gear, or the Baywatch gear, or the chicken and beer gear, or my sister Highly Inappropriate with Cook Simmons, get her some gear up in there. And if y'all want some stuff, man, that's the place to go get it, man. Real talk, man. We appreciate you guys who support us in that way, because that kind of keeps this ball rolling, right? So we got that going on, man. But yeah, man, I did want to kind of let me just go ahead and get off into this here real quick. So I'm gonna change a little bit how we do things here at Mr. Spann Official, at least. I've been doing this for a long time, man. Like I said, we just celebrated 14 years of me being behind the mic and talking and giving my opinions on things and my perspective. And I like to think that I think I try to think things through and have a thorough opinion about some of this stuff before I get on the mic and start articulating those thoughts. Um, but at the same time, although I've never really pressed my audience about no money, because trust and believe, I hate. I mean, when I say I hate, I mean
Oh man, hate.
I ain't never pressed y'all about no money, man. As a matter of fact, there used to be times where I was giving out $100 prizes and shit on the show, man. That's how good it was. It was, but like, no, what I'm getting at though, I'm stuttering and shit. But what I'm getting at though is that I need at this point, and I was sitting around like kind of really thinking about this because I don't want to stop doing this, and I don't have any plans on stopping and doing this. But what I was thinking about though was that I do really need to try to figure out a way to make this thing at least pay for itself, right? That's just what it is. None of this stuff is cheap, man. I paid all of the stuff I pay for. It comes out of my pocket, man. And I do it because I love it. I never really got into this because I wanted to make a whole lot of money off of it. But I got to make this shit make financial sense, right? And so one of the things, I was thinking about was kind of shifting the focus on how it is that we produce the show and how often we do the show, how long the shows are going to be, so that I can figure out a way to, monetize this show, man. Because, like and I'm not asking you guys like, just like, hey, man, I ain't coming to y'all with my hand out, is what I'm saying. But as a result of me wanting to try to, strategically monetize this show, I got to do some things a little bit differently around here. If you guys want to donate to the show, you're always welcome. I ain't gonna never knock anybody for doing that. But what's going to end up happening is I'm gonna start doing like something that I've said I was going to do a while ago and just never got around to doing it because I got stuck in habits. And that's like doing shorter shows, right? And like, you know, I feel as though like because of the way that I'm doing the show now, where I'm producing the audio and the video. As a matter of fact, if you're watching me, if you partaking of this show on Spotify, you can watch the videos on Spotify as well. And if you're watching me on YouTube, of course, you can watch me on YouTube. You can watch me on Facebook. You can listen to me a whole bunch of different ways. I'm on all of your podcast catchers and everything else. However, because I'm doing the show in so many different ways, I gotta, make this make sense financially. And so, like I said, some of the shows are going to be shorter, and mostly because I'm just in a bit of transparency here. Um, with the YouTube and the way YouTube works, in order for me to monetize this, I've got to up the amount of watch hours that I get on these videos, right? So one of the ways in which I can do that in a shorter amount of time is to produce more content. Unfortunately, producing more content means, hell, man, I can actually just like take clips of these shows and like produce a bunch of different videos based off of the shows that I'm doing. But also what I found is that even I sometimes I would wish I was a little bit more curt or a little bit more not as verbose in some of the videos that I was putting out on YouTube, because I think it would be better if I had like a shorter a video that got to the point right when I needed to be, where it's not, yo, man, this nigga has been talking for 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Because folks' attention spans are not as long as they used to be, right? And so I'm going to be doing stuff a little bit differently, man. So you may get a podcast where I'm only talking about one particular topic. You may get a podcast where I'm talking about a couple different topics. But ultimately, I want to make sure that you guys understand why things are happening the way that they're happening, right? And I also want you guys to know that, like, yeah, man, I want you. This is as much y'all as it is me. I want y'all to know what's up, man. I ain't never wanted to, I ain't never put no airs on for y'all or nothing like that. I've always tried to be upfront with my audience and be authentic with you guys, man. I've always got on this mic and told y'all exactly what it was I'm feeling. And so right now, what I'm feeling is this shit need to make some money. Like, real talk, this shit need to make some money. So, and in a way to not try to like, yo, man, hit my listeners over the head and like just come out with the hat in hand, like, hey man, could y'all donate some money? Yeah, man, I would love if y'all donated money. Like that would be dope. But also there are other ways for me to monetize this. I want to take advantage of those things too. And so part of that's part of the thing. Those are some of the changes that are going to come. Some of these episodes are going to get a little shorter. With those episodes getting shorter though, that would allow me to actually dive into things a little bit more in depth, because I could just say, hey, this is the episode. I'm talking about this one thing, and then I'm moving on to another thing. That's another episode, and I'm moving on to another thing. And that's more so for the YouTube aspect of it. But also, yeah, with the way things are moving with YouTube Shorts and TikTok and all this other stuff, hey man, I gotta figure out a way to make this make sense financially. So yeah, man, that's one of the things. That's one of the changes that I think is going to come, right? Or that I know is going to come. The other thing that I wanted to tell you guys about is what the focus of a lot of the stuff is going to be, man. So more of it is going to be about media analysis, man. Like I'm going to be critiquing more so like the media and how the media is producing what they're showing us, and how they're bringing this information to us, and how does it make sense for us, how it doesn't make sense for us, being on the lookout for misinformation and disinformation. As a matter of fact, there's some things I had posted earlier today I had to retract, because I'm like, hold on, Spann, hold on, pump your brakes, right? Because there's so much of this shit that's about to come down the pike on us. So if I'm going to be doing this, yeah, man, let me make sure that I got my ducks in a row. And so yeah, I want to analyze the media. That's what a lot of this is going to be about. I'm going to be analyzing the media. We're going to be talking about what the fuck they are talking about on CNN. We're going to be talking about what they're talking about on ESPN. We're going to be talking about what they're talking about on the radio. And we may end up fucking around talking about what some other podcaster may be talking about, and how that information affects us in a very real way. Or if it doesn't affect us, and it's something that we should be like, oh, that ain't that's some bullshit, right? So that's what the focus is mostly going to be about. It's going to be a media analysis type of deal. But also, yeah, the episodes are going to be a little bit shorter. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to like kind of put this out here now, because I got some things that I need to do. And I wanted you guys to understand why when you did see the changes, or then when you did hear the changes, if you listen to this episode, you absolutely understand why these changes are being made, right? So I appreciate your patience and listening to me tell y'all what it is I want to do about what we're gonna be doing in the future. All right. Real talk. So speaking of which, one of the things um one of the things that happened today, right? So I saw this story, and I saw it on Threads, and they were talking about uh Donald Trump signing an executive order to eradicate the equal employment opportunity commission, or the EEOC. And essentially what they were how they were presenting the information was that the EEOC had been done away with through executive order by Donald Trump. And I read the article, and I read the article with the premise already set for me, that the EEOC had been done away with. And then under further the review, I found out that wasn't the case. What happened is that Donald Trump he wrote an executive order to get rid of DEI in the federal workplace. So if you work for any type of federal entity, Donald Trump is trying to get rid of all of that shit. And with an executive order, he is willing and able to do that shit for all federal employees, because he's the executive of the federal bureaucracy. So I've been seeing a lot of, we getting a lot of shock and awe happening right now. We're getting a lot of stuff that is coming down the pike right now. And it's only been 2 days since this motherfucker's been president. Everybody's been losing their mind. There's been headline after headline about what this nigga is doing and everything like that. And what I want to make perfectly clear here is we not falling for that shit. We cannot, and I will not get caught up in every fucking thing this orange menace wants to do or proposes to do, because that's exactly what that fuck ass motherfucker wants for us, to be worried about what he wants to do, how he wants to do it. And the cruelty is the point with these people. And so There gonna be some times where like, yeah, it might be a story that you think I should cover, and I might not because I might feel like, yo, man, like this is exactly what he wants for us to do. Is like we losing our shit over every little thing that his bitch ass does, and I'm not about to allow that man to um I'm not about to allow that man to do that to me. And through me, I'm not about to allow him to do that to y'all. So nah, man, yeah, we will the important shit, the important shit, we will definitely talk about. But I think it's important for us to also keep a level head. And when we come to an analyzing some of the stuff that's coming down, to not necessarily be in the rush to be first, but to actually have it right, man. That's my biggest thing, is to actually have the shit right. We ain't got to be first all the time, and that's the one thing about what I'm seeing in social media, what I'm seeing in content creation spaces, is that everybody is in a rush to be the first ones to say something, to put something out, and I guess that's part of the ways they make their money. And maybe I need to come off of it to some degree. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But one of the things that like I don't want this to become a race to the bottom where we're putting out bad information because we want to be the first motherfuckers to get out here and say, I told you, y'all got it from me. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And so we got that going on. My man Dwayne's in the chat room, man. What's up, Spann? What's going on, my brother? I hope tonight is treating you well, man. If you're in one of these cold fucking areas like I am, I hope you're keeping warm, brother, because I didn't even take my ass outside today. Fuck that. Like, but Dwayne also says, let's see what we got here. He says, I'm not going to be heavily invested in what the orange creamsicle does. He will not grace my television screen. Every time I see his face, it pisses me off. Hey man, trust me, it does me too. It does me too. And like, I think that, what we're seeing now, man, is it's a return back to what we saw back in 2016, 2017, 2018, 29. Like this is a turning back of the page. And one of the things I've prided myself on is like just paying attention to what's going on. And also, I've been one of the main people saying, hey man, y'all ain't learned shit from 2016. We ain't learned shit from this. We ain't learned. And I noticed this. I noticed it. I noticed it was happening with me the last episode, where how I was going, like how I was getting at and getting upset with Nelly and that whole deal with Snoop and everything else, where I was actually getting upset to the point that I couldn't really articulate myself in the way I which I would want to. And there were points that I wanted to make and didn't, because that shit was really pissing me off. And so I can't allow for these people to get me that way. And so that's part of the things that are going to precipitate the changes that we're going to see here over at the Mr. Spann official show, man. Yes, in Alabama, it's cold as fuck here too. I heard y'all got some snow down there too, man. Hey, my wife sent me a TikTok of what was going on in New Orleans, because New Orleans means a lot to us. We got married down there, and we go down there quite often. And they were showing this video of like Bourbon Street filled with snow, bro, and it was weird as hell to see Bourbon like that. It was weird as hell to see St. Jackson Square like that, and I saw some really like nice looking pictures in New Orleans with snow and stuff, but I know they're not really, they're not built for that like that, man. And my wife was talking about how sorry she felt for them. Like, well, damn, it's gonna be 50 degrees for them motherfuckers tomorrow. The snow gonna be gone, so they gonna be all right. But shit, man, when I woke up today, it was -2 degrees outside. I said, I am not going out in that shit. Fuck that. And so I ain't left my house today. I ain't left my house. But yeah, man, it's like this weather. This weather has been crazy all over the place, man. It's down south is getting the snow, and we got the Arctic blast up here in the north, man. It's crazy. Climate change is real. Climate change is real. Motherfuckers ain't really believing in it. Republicans thinking it's something, they thinking it's a political issue. Like we seeing the real remnants of this shit right now. So yeah, we got that going on. They had record snow in New Orleans, man. That's crazy. But yeah, I say all that to say, it's not that we're not gonna talk about no stuff tonight, because there's some stuff we're gonna talk about tonight, but we're gonna analyze the stuff, because we're gonna be media analyzing, social media analyzing, media analyzing, and all this other shit. And what we're gonna start with is, yes, goddamn it, that was a goddamn Nazi salute.
Nigga!
So Elon Musk was speaking at a inaugural, I think that was like the inaugural parade that they had at the Capital One Center in Washington, D.C. They took it inside because it was cold as fuck outside. I did see, though. I really did see the Mississippi Valley State. Remember we talked about them a few weeks ago, whether or not they were going to be able to go to that parade because they were looking to raise money to go. Well, I saw they ass performing for Donald Trump.
What the fuck, y'all? God damn! God damn! God damn! What? Fuck! Fuck!
Yeah, man, I saw they were performing there. And one of the things I thought about, man, is because I'm trying to think what was the other school that had been asked to perform at the last Donald Trump inauguration. And I believe it was an HBCU. They were asking folks, can they, to raise money for them. And a lot of those MAGA people actually raised that money for them in spite of, right? And so one of the things I was thinking about when we were talking about Snoop and Rick Ross and Nelly and Soulja Boy, all those guys going out there to perform for Donald Trump and whatnot, is that, ultimately, I'm not putting these kids in the same vein as these guys. I think these kids, this is just there's a distinct difference between the two for me. These kids, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for them. Many of them, despite how they may feel about Donald Trump, would still like to go for the experience. To be denied the experience, would probably be like, well, fuck, man, that was an opportunity taken from me and everything else. It's something about the kids, man. Like I just look at it differently. I still wouldn't go donate for the asses to go, but I see that differently. But they were, and one of the reasons why I would not have paid for them to go is because there was a Nazi salute that was being had at the exact same fucking parade, right? So Elon Musk was at this parade, and he was of course he was celebrating the fact that Donald Trump won this election, and I believe we got a video of this. Let me see if I can pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. I'm sure there's video of this. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we get this from the Fox 5 affiliate in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. Fuck, y'all beat my Lions. I'm still salty about that shit. But let me pull this video so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on just a second while I do this. And let's just take a look at this. And y'all tell me. I mean, I know what a Nazi salute look like. I'm sure y'all probably know what a Nazi salute looks like. But they trying to tell us that this wasn't a Nazi salute. So check this out, y'all. We're gonna replay that. Yep. One more time. All right. So have you guys ever seen the movie American History X? That was that was a really good movie. Came out in like 1995, 96 or something like that. And it was about this dude who used to be a really big neo-Nazi out in the West Coast and whatnot. And he ends up killing a black guy outside of his home, like curb stomped him, split his head open. They send him to prison, and of course he goes to prison and he gets, so he ends up with a magically black friend, right? And this magically black friend like starts making him feel like a fucking fool for being the Nazi that he is, and he comes out and he's renouncing this whole connection to this Nazism and everything else. And his friends don't necessarily, they're not really cool with the fact that he's dropping everything he was. They're expecting him to come back a hero and everything, and he's not with it anymore. And there was this one scene where they give him this Sig Heil fucking salute. It was exactly the same one that Elon Musk stood in front of these thousands of people and just fucking did. He did just that. Now, one of the things about how the with the media is that like so many of the media now, we're seeing how they are capitulating to the will of this particular administration, where they're scared of being sued. They are really genuflecting. They are bending over backwards to not say the obvious. people are talking about an awkward gesture. People are worrying about what that symbol actually meant. Folks are saying, oh, he was sending out his heart. That's what it meant. He was really sending out his heart. It's like, man, get the fuck out of here, man. If I said these meant fuck you and these meant I love you instead of fuck you, you would not believe me. If I'm like, yeah, man, I love the fuck out of you, man. Yeah, I love the fuck out you. You would not believe me. You'd be like, this nigga is saying, like, fuck, he's telling me to fuck myself. He really, like, I know what that fucking symbol mean. And like, it's weird watching these people think that they can gaslight us in that way. We about to see a whole bunch of this stuff. We're about to see a whole bunch of this over the next 4 years, man. There's going to be a whole lot of shit you going to see where they going to do some shit. They going to say some shit. And then when you call them on that shit, they going to act like that shit wasn't what it was. We, on the other hand, have to not be so easily baited into getting upset about it, but also recognizing and calling shit for what it is. I know exactly what that is. You're not going back, you're not going to gaslight me and all this other stuff, right? The other thing too is that you're gonna find yourself, if you haven't pruned your social media, connections and stuff like that. A lot of these Trump supporters now, they're very much emboldened on social media now. If you're not following them, they're gonna still have something to say to you. You do not have to engage them. You don't. Every now and again, I might choose to, just if I'm feeling bored or some shit like that. But you ain't got to engage these folks. You can block these motherfuckers to oblivion. Lead them right where they at, because they want that interaction. They are feeding off of the fact that they are like, yo, we are triggering the libs. We are they can't handle it. They are trying to inundate you with a bunch of bullshit. They're trying to flood the zone with a bunch of bullshit and make you feel overwhelmed. Don't give them that opportunity. Do not give them that opportunity. These people know exactly what they're doing. Block their asses. You got the tools to block their asses. So if you're still on Twitter, block their asses. If you're on Threads, block their asses. If you're on fucking Bluesky, block their asses, mute their asses, hide for everyone. You can actually send these motherfuckers into oblivion, man. You ain't never got to see none of the bullshit that they talking about. Now, every now and again, like I said, sometimes even your boy, sometimes players fuck up. Sometimes I might want to engage. Sometimes this motherfucker ain't about to say this shit to me. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're gonna get in those moods. And trust me, I know I've been there. I was there earlier this morning, right? But understand, this is exactly what they want. They are going to gaslight the fuck out of everybody. We saw, what was that? There was one of the, I want to say, was that Elise Stefanik? I forget exactly what department she's trying to get confirmed for, but they asked her about this salute, and she straight up told everybody that they ain't see what the fuck they saw, that they ain't what that was. So understand that this is what it is. This is what they're gonna do. Now, another thing too, we gotta be careful of. We gotta stop allowing social media to like throw us off the scent of some real shit, right? So one of the things I saw earlier today was that Trump tweeted out that he was ending child support. If the mother of the child was receiving child support for that child, then she could not file those children on her tax returns. And honestly, to me, when I first heard this, shit was like,
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. No wonder you get D's and everything.
But you know how many people believe that shit? Did you know how many people believe that shit? We got a couple more comments here in the chat. Team US 2K. Hey, Spann, what's going on, fam? And Dwayne says, did you see that performative preacher reciting MLK's I did, unfortunately, see that, right? And I will speak to that real quick. Because this is a pattern that Donald Trump has. And that preacher is actually from here in Detroit. And I've been around his church, right? That church I thought that church was closed down, because there actually used to be a very large congregation that used to have that church. As a matter of fact, that church is covering 2 blocks. They got like 4 or 5 different buildings that go to that church. But for a long time, 3 of those buildings had like been closed down. So I'm like, yo, I thought the church was done. Like they had, it was a dead church, right? So I didn't even know the church was even open anymore, right? And so the pastor that was actually up there doing that benediction for Donald Trump was the pastor of that church in Detroit, right? Now I want y'all to take heed to this right quick. And this is why, again, many of these people they're tokens, and they even sometimes they're tokens. They don't even want to know themselves to be tokens. Sometimes they might not even mind being the token, so long as they might have got some bread out of it. So I got paid, so that's what it is. In much the same way that Soldier Boy got paid, and Snoop got paid, and Rick Ross got paid. Like all they care about is they got paid, right? And so this, I forget his name, but it's something Sewell. Let me ask y'all something. And I'm being real with y'all real quick. When was the last time y'all saw Daryl Scott in relation to anything going on with Donald Trump? Y'all remember him? Daryl Scott, that pastor that came out, I want to say it was like Cleveland. It was all over the place back in the early 2016, 15 and stuff like that when Donald Trump was campaigning before. Y'all ain't seen his ass nowhere at all, have you? There was another pastor here in Detroit, man. His name was like Bishop T something Jackson or whatever. He had a church here. Donald Trump was at his church the last time he was running for president. His church ain't even there no more. Y'all ain't seen that nigga since. Ain't seen that motherfucker at all. What about that big that big dude that was I want to say he came out of North Carolina, South Carolina, one of those Carolinas, man. He was a pastor. They found out he was scamming and shit. He was out here stumping for Donald Trump. His name was Mark Burns. Y'all seen Mark Burns out here at all? I ain't seen him in a while. All right. And so this guy is like the latest in the long string of black pastors who will give this man racial cover so that they can say, well, Donald Trump ain't racist. You see, he had these black people around him. And we as black folks know, they're like, yeah, we know a token nigga when we see one. We know these token niggas. They always around. There's always a nigga that's willing to be bought. Ask Snoop, ask Nelly, and the rest of them niggas, right? It's always a nigga willing to be bought. But, what I saw was him going up there and bastardizing the I Have a Dream speech for a man who is the antithesis of everything everything Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood for. That I Have a Dream speech is the antithesis of everything Donald Trump is trying to do right now. Much of the DEI stuff that Donald Trump was writing out of the federal government were things that had been put into place after the signing of the 1964 Civil Rights Bill. Okay? So he's trying to take away the works that Dr. King gave his life for. And you got this motherfucker standing up here invoking Dr. King in praises to this motherfucker? Yeah, man, he can kiss my ass, bro. He can kiss my ass. But we also got to understand, there's always a nigga willing to be bought. And call them out for who they are. Call them out for who they are. Don't let these niggas gaslight you about, it's about having respect for the office when the nigga in the office don't have no respect for it. Donald Trump, again, ran for president to keep his ass out of jail. And now that Donald Trump has no threats of going to jail, and he's got a whole bunch of sycophants around him, Donald Trump is unleashed to some degree to do whatever the fuck he feels like he can do. So this is why this shock and awe that you're seeing all over the news. Donald Trump did this. Donald Trump did that. Donald Trump did this. This is gonna be 4 years, man. Buckle up. This is gonna be. Do not let these motherfuckers like overwhelm us with the bullshit, man. Real talk. Let's see. Team US 2K said that was a whole Nazi salute, or he was having a stroke. I would say it was a Nazi salute too. I would say it was a Nazi salute too. But did y'all hear that there was a weather lady somewhere? I want to say she was in like Milwaukee or some shit like that. They got fired because she was on Instagram and she said that nigga was a Nazi. Did y'all hear about that shit? Yeah, so again, a lot of these news outfits and stuff like that, bro, they are capitulating. They are, again, we can't allow them We cannot allow them to gaslight us in this way, though, because they're trying to rewrite the history. And the only way they're able to do that is if we don't be vigilant and documenting this shit for time immemorial. So when our grandkids look back at this time and they want to figure out, well, granddaddy, what was you doing around this time? And then you could go point to the works that you did. You can go point to your social media posts of what you said during that time. You could post to your podcast or your YouTube videos or whatever else you did. Like, but this is how I felt about it at the time. Cause like I feel like to a large degree, man, some of our people got away with like acting like they was down with the shit and they wasn't really down with the shit. You know what I'm saying? But they coasted on that shit. I think the Boondocks did a episode of that about Granddad. Yeah, they did. They did. When Granddad was out here talking about, so he was when was that Riley said his teacher called him a nigga, and Granddad was talking about, so I didn't get beat down with water hoses and stuff like that for my grandson to go to school, and his teacher calling him a nigga, and they was like, wait a minute, Granddad, you wasn't even in no marches. You went back to the house to go get your raincoat. but he kept the whole bit up. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if we are vigilant about how we are, document these times, man, to not allow for them to rewrite the shit, then maybe I mean, when history comes down, they will look at those of us who were in the fight, who were articulating the truth, with a friendly ear, with a friendly eye, right? Real talk. Let's see. Team US 2K says this. It's a shame these artists put dollars in front of integrity of themselves and their people. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Again, we can't be surprised that some folks can be bought. Chrisette Michelle, one of the things that people were saying now is that Chrisette Michelle deserves an apology because, her intentions were to go there and to, at least what she says were her intentions was to like just bridge a gap between, the left and the right and everything else. But I don't think she really understood that like her audience really wasn't feeling that shit. And one of the reasons why I believe that the alleged cancellation of Snoop and Rick Ross and all these other guys isn't going to be anywhere near the same as what Chrisette Michelle is, that those dudes have they have some level of crossover appeal, right? Like Snoop Dogg is America's Snoop Dogg now. You saw this nigga at the goddamn Olympics and shit on NBC, just like being cuddly and funny and shit, right? This motherfuckers was doing a damn, a VH1 show cooking chicken and shit with Martha Stewart. Snoop Dogg is doing Corona commercials. Snoop Dogg is doing T-Mobile commercials. Snoop Dogg don't belong to us no more. So I think when you have a situation like that with someone like a Snoop Dogg, it's like, well, he's surrounded by people who he's making money with that don't necessarily look like he don't have that same allegiance, right? Rick Ross, same thing. These niggas have never told you that they had anything to do with like, matter of fact, Rick Ross has been catching it because Rick Ross, when this whole thing between Drake and Kendrick Lamar was going down, Rick Ross was out here calling Drake the, white boy this and white boy that. Was like, well, damn, nigga, you should have been right over there with his white ass if this is how you feeling with this Trump shit. Because most of the black folks ain't feeling this shit. The vast majority of us ain't feeling this shit, right? 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris. 80% of black men voted for Kamala Harris. That leaves, what was that? 8% of black women and 20% of black men, right? That's 28%. That's a little bit over a quarter of us. That quarter of us, they will very well sell the rest of us the fuck out, right? Because they don't feel like they have any allegiance to this. The other part of it is this, and I said this before, there are people within our community who feel as though they are above and they are apart and above the rest of us, right? They don't have any allegiance to the rest of us. They think they are above and apart from the rest of us. So when we see them acting as though they're above and apart from the rest of us, I mean, yeah, let's call them out, but also let's keep it a buck. When it comes time to the cancellation of them, that's a choice every individual person has to make. And I'm gonna be honest with you right now. It's hard for me to cancel Snoop Dogg when I ain't been listening to this nigga in the first place. Right? I ain't been listening to this nigga. So in much the same way, I've never listened to Snoop was that Soulja Boy? She was always whack to me. So I mean, like, why the fuck would I be listening to Soulja Boy? And the only person in this whole trio that I probably would listen to was Rick Ross. But I've always known him to be a lying sack of shit because he was always he's a correctional officer. He want to sell us on the idea that he was a drug lord. So yeah, man, like these people haven't really given us any reason to believe that they were about blackness. They never sold themselves, to that, and that's why I shouldn't have got as upset as I did at Nelly, because yeah, I should have expected something like that from somebody like that, right? Not all of us, and these are Nelly comes across as one of the motherfuckers who, him, with the false equivalencies and shit like that. So yeah, man. I mean, that shit just is what it is. Let's see what else we got. Team USA or US. I'm sorry, I keep saying USA. Speaking of integrity and respect, did you see that pic of Sexy Red twerking on MLK? I did see that picture. I also did see that Dr. King's daughter Bernice forcefully asked for an apology on I believe that was Twitter, and Sexy Red did take that picture down. And she thought it was innocent, but yeah, man. Think about this for a second. We've seen on Martin Luther King Day for the better part, I want to say shit, for the better part of the last 10 to 15 years, man, parties promoting Dr. King Day at like clubs and shit where they got Dr. King looking like a drug lord. They got Dr. King looking like a pimp. They got Rosa Parks bent over with a thong on. Like, we've been seeing images like that for a long time, right? And I think for someone like a Bernice King, I think, she's basically like, all right, I'm fed up with this. Like, y'all ain't gonna keep disrespecting my daddy like in this way. And I like the fact that like Sexy Red took that, took what she saw from Bernice King, was like, hey, like, well, shit, damn, I didn't know this is what this was. My bad, and giving Sexy Red a little bit of grace because the girl ain't that old, man. As a matter of fact, hey Google, how old is Sexy Red?
26 years old.
Yeah, she's 26, man. Like, you know how much dumb shit I was doing when I was 26? 26, like she's not that old. So, and considering that, the type of people that she's around, the type of music she does, man, I don't know if I would have expected much more from her, but I'm glad that she was just able to take that chastisement and like and that correction and just take that shit down. So, that part is what it is. Now we got another thing to kind of get to, man, that I saw that happened over the course of this week or these last few days though. So, yeah, we were talking about Trump and the child support. That's what we was talking about, Trump and the child support. Yeah, man. So Donald Trump allegedly is taking the child support away, or better yet, niggas have alleged. Niggas have alleged that if you have your father, or the father of your children on child support, then when it comes time to file your taxes, that tax money goes to the father of those children, not to the mother who's been taking care of those kids. Nigga! Yeah. And I gotta say, man, you niggas was creative as fuck with this one. Oh man, you niggas was creative. I mean, I really hate it though. All right.
Oh man, hate.
I really hate it. I really hate it. And the reason why I hate it is because yeah, man, this has got to be some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen, like, kind of go across the whole social media. So I'm gonna pull some of these videos up to show y'all what I'm talking about, man. I'm sure some of you guys have already seen some of these, but for those of you who haven't, I'm gonna go ahead and pull some of these up. So let me do this here. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Here go one of them.
Oh my God, Trump just.
Let me pull this up so you guys can watch. I'm gonna do this here. All right.
Oh my God, Trump just tweeted, if you put your baby daddy on child support, that the baby daddy now gets all of the income tax. What?
All right. So that video went out and it prompted a whole bunch of different responses. So here's another response. Here's a response video to it. Let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me. Here's a response to this video. Here we go. Okay, so Buddy ain't even saying nothing. He just got this music playing. But the caption says, "Wait a minute. So Trump wants to pass a new child support law that will allow me to pay $200 a month in child support, and I can file my kids and get over $10,000 back in taxes." And so he's counting money while with his foot up on a rock. For those guys who are not watching along with us, we got another one here. Let me see if I can find this other one, because it was like 3 or 4 of them that I found. So yeah, here's another one. I think this guy's a little bit more verbose.
So they say there's new.
Okay, yeah. So let me pull this up so you guys can watch this also. But I'm gonna make a point about this here in a minute. But check this out, y'all. Yeah, here we go.
New law that Trump is making is crazy, but I think it's great. Trump new child support law will be crazy. Basically, if you put somebody on child support, you will no longer be able to claim that child on your taxes. Only person who is paying child support can. So you either choose them between child support or placing that child on your taxes. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some fathers, there are some men, because those are not fathers, who do not do nothing and absolutely nothing for their children. Now, those men should definitely be on child support, and the mother still should be allowed to claim the child on her taxes. But there are a lot of women who only have children for child support. There you go. You either get your child support with no taxes, without being able to claim on your taxes, or you get the taxes with no child support. Which one you want? Look at Trump. My boy, Uncle T, in office doing his thing like he.
You hear this coon ass shit this nigga just did? You see what I'm saying? Everybody can't go. We can't keep everybody. Everybody can't go. Now he don't even know this is some old bullshit. It ain't even real. He ain't the only one though. He is not the only one. So we got another one here that's talking about it. So I'm gonna pull this one up so you guys can watch right along with me. But this is a sister, and this sister is talking about it. So let me take that down. But let's see what the sister got to say about this child support and these taxes. What's she talking about? Okay, what she got to say about this whole thing? All right.
You better be mad at President Donald Trump, because he's the one tweeting out that he's going to make sure that the people that's paying child support are able to collect the taxes, earned income tax to be exactly, for the child. Now, I don't know what you think about this, but I personally don't receive child support. And I pay physically for my children and financially for my children through my blood, sweat, and tears, and through my money to take care of my children. And I know there's a lot of people that I know who do that as well, and they receive child support, but the amount of work that they do and the amount of money that they spend on their children, it don't even equate up to the amount that they're receiving. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there are people that pay a lot more in child support than they should, and I think he's going to work on that. Donald Trump is working on fixing it so that it's the right amount that goes to the parent, which will, I don't know if it's ever going to be a right amount to that person, but hear me out. What are you going to do? How do you feel about this? Are you going to just be okay with that? Are you going to take your kids off of child support because of the situation, or would you keep them on there and allow for the other parent to be able to file that child on the taxes, especially since you've been filing all along? How do you feel? Let me know. I just want to know, because this is deep.
It's not deep, sister. It's not deep at all. So the guy who originally came up with this shit had to come out and say this shit was phony. He had to come out and say he had to come out and say this shit is not real, y'all. He really did. So let me pull this up. It's gonna be the last video of this shit I show y'all. But let me pull this shit up, because he had to come out and say, "Hey man, look, it's not real."
Trump child support stuff.
Hold on, let me pull this up.
That Trump child support stuff. I made.
Okay.
Trump.
All right. Here we go. Let me do this here. Boom. Boom. All right. See what my man's talking about.
Child support stuff. I made it up. I made it up 6 days ago. It's going viral. My video alone has 12 million on TikTok and 1 million on Instagram. But I was just making it up in my car because I said, have y'all heard Trump just passed? I said, I'm paraphrasing, but I said, Trump just tweeted that if you pay child support, the baby daddy get income tax. What? And I said that, and all of a sudden, it went wildfire. I'm saying, duplicates of the video. People using my sound. Some people just creating their own narrative of it, but it's fake. He didn't pass nothing. It's a good conversation that everybody having, but it's fake. So I just want y'all to know I'm the original person that did that. I was playing around. Thank y'all for the conversation, the dialogue. You can go check it out, like I said, on my TikTok or on my Instagram. I pinned it, so it's like the top
of course
video.
you did.
And it's people just tick off, so don't believe it. It's fake.
All right. So one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this tonight is because, like I said, man, we've been talking about this for the last few shows, man. You know, like the proliferation of misinformation and disinformation that gets permeated throughout social media, right? This man told you he made that shit up out of the whole cloth. He was just sitting in his car one day and just said Trump tweeted out this law where child support is going to change, where the fathers get the money and the mothers don't get the money for on the income tax returns, right? And what was funny about it is that you saw how many niggas. I couldn't tell you how many niggas was like on a social media geeked about the premise or the idea they were gonna possibly be getting taken off of child support because they think that they thought that their baby mothers would take them off so that they can get the income tax returns, right? And they didn't really believe this shit. The sad part about this is, like, for one, how fast this moved across social media, moved all the way across the nation, probably all the way across the world. It was complete and utter bullshit. People bought it hook, line, and sinker, and not even realize, not even stopping to think, wait a minute. Child support is normally through state courts, state family courts. Donald Trump ain't got no jurisdiction over state courts. Donald Trump ain't got no jurisdiction over family courts. Donald Trump can't take my motherfucking child support off. Donald Trump can't make my girl or my wife take me off a child, or ex-wife or whomever. Like, he don't have no control over that. He don't have no control over the IRS. He doesn't. So when we're talking to a nation of people, we think about this for a second. We're a nation of dumb motherfuckers. We got a nation full of dumbasses here. Because, like, I mean, we got to be a nation full of dumbasses to have had Donald Trump for president for 4 years and then thought we was going to do the shit again and it was going to be an okay, like, proposition, right? Got to be a nation of stupid motherfuckers for that type of shit. But, like, they didn't stop and think about it. But you know what they did think about? Hey, man, let me get on TikTok and give y'all my thoughts on this one. This shit ain't even real, but I'm gonna talk about it. Yeah, so let's hypothetically though, like, what if the mama did? I mean, because there's some of these mamas out here only having the babies for child support, and then a lot of these niggas don't tell you that when it comes to the child support, some of these motherfuckers might be paying $200 a month on a child live in California. Man, what the fuck is mama gonna do with that $200? Right? Or he might be giving $45, but who knows what the total is. I've seen some crazy totals when it comes to child support. I've seen niggas bitch and moan about child support. It's like, nigga, if your child is over there with her and you over here on your lonesome and she's got the kid most of the time, like, nigga, and y'all created the baby together, what are you bitching about, really? Right? It's weird, bro. It's real weird. But when I saw this, I said, boy, you niggas was in y'all was in y'all motherfucker creative bag with this one, man. Cause y'all had motherfuckers thinking Trump was out here doing some more shit. This is some more of that shocking all Trump shit. And part of the reason why I think it bit is because of all of the things that are going on with Donald Trump right now, people are prone to believe any fucking wild story you will tell them about Donald Trump. In much the same way that I very easily thought that it was possible that Donald Trump would write out the equal employment opportunity commission. Like, shit. If you're asking me now, I think it's not. If he had the purview to do it, he would most definitely do it. But that's not what happened today. And so, for a motherfucker that whose integrity means something to them, I don't want to be out here passing off bad information and misleading anybody any more than I want to be misled. So, I made sure that I told folks after I took it, like, hey man, I did some more reading on that, and that's not the case. My bad. They got me too. So that was some misinformation, and and I don't want to be the purveyor of spreading out misinformation. And yet, like I said, this here went gangbusters around social media. Motherfuckers out here panicking on social media talking about income taxes and child support. And it's crazy that because of the craziness that is surrounding Donald Trump, that these types of stories will be given legs because of the craziness that is surrounding Trump. So yeah, man, we got that going on. I got one last thing here. I saw a comment on a video that I did, and like weirdly enough, the comment is no longer here. Okay. So I saw a video I saw a comment they were asking me about something with Charlemagne and something he said about Donald Trump and Barack Obama and Nelly and those guys. So let me see if I can find this video. I don't see the comment anymore, which is weird though. That's fucking weird. But let me see if I can find the video. So let's do this here. Let me do this here. Do. Okay. All right. I believe maybe this is it. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to pull this up.
Alrighty. Also, as we.
Okay. I think they were talking about Charlemagne saying something. Let me see if I can scrub this. All right. I think maybe this is it. Okay. Let me do this here. All right. I'm going to pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me. Hold on just a second while I get this right. And all right. Let's see what they're talking about here on the Breakfast Club. Here we go.
I don't know. They even threw Chrisette Michelle back into it. I remember she got in trouble for the first time.
I remember that.
Yep.
And they damn near tried to kill her career.
Yep.
For performing.
Now everybody was so happy that Ashanti spent the block and the family unit is good. Now people are like, why would she spend the block? He a loser, she a loser. All this stuff.
You know, the hypocrisy that people display in regards to who they like and don't like is mind-blowing to me. Like, there is no way you are more mad at rappers for performing at these inauguration events than you are at the elected officials who told us Trump was a fascist, a threat to democracy, a danger to our country and the Constitution. They likened him to Hitler, but then folks like Biden just welcomed him back in the White House. Obama was sharing a good laugh with him at the funeral of President Carter. We know why the rappers did what they did. We know why they doing it. They got paid. What's the politician's excuse for normalizing Trump?
Oh,
okay. I think this is probably what they wanted me to respond to. Two things. One, and I think I spoke about this a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Obama with Donald Trump at the funeral, was that Obama being who he is, being the former president of the United States, and it being protocol that the president of the United States or former president show up to the funeral of a former president. I believe that, for one, it was his duty to be there. He felt that it was his duty to be there because of who he is, right? The seating arrangements, I don't think he has anything to do with. In fact, if Michelle Obama had decided to come, I don't think we even get those pictures of Barack Obama and Donald Trump together, right? The other part about it is this, and I think I said this the last time I talked to you guys, is that there are protocols, man. Like, again, when these people are together, they know the cameras are on them at all times. I think Barack Obama understood that, yo, man, these people are watching us right now. I can be an asshole to this dude, but what is it gonna what purpose is being an asshole to this dude right now in this moment serve me when this moment isn't even about me? This moment is about our memory, the memorial of former President Jimmy Carter, right? So you got that going on. The other part about it is this, is don't act as though Barack Obama didn't put in the work to not get this guy to be in the position that he's in right now, right? Other motherfuckers had put Donald Trump in the position to be in that room. Had more people decided to do the right thing and vote for Kamala Harris, you never get this interaction between Donald Trump and Barack Obama, right? Barack Obama been out here campaigning for Joe Biden, campaigning for Kamala Harris, campaigning for Hillary Clinton, campaigning for countless Senate candidates, campaigning for Congress people. Barack Obama, like, he ain't president no more, but when they feel like they want to pull out a big gun in the Democratic Party, Barack Obama being, up until this point, the last democratically elected Democrat president, yeah, he was the big gun for them. And a lot of y'all told Barack Obama to kiss y'all ass. Y'all voted for the other guy. Right? We have a Donald Trump because of a Barack Obama, man. Let's keep it a buck. Donald Trump doesn't even run for president if there had never been a Barack Obama who had been president. So a lot of y'all have had opportunities to not make that situation happen, chose to either not get involved. Politics ain't your thing, yada, yada, yada. Politics gonna do you if you don't do shit with it, no matter what. But to, like, the false equivalence of this is that, Barack Obama told y'all he was a threat to society. He was a threat to democracy. That don't mean this shit ain't still true. Joe Biden told y'all he was a threat to the society. That don't mean this shit ain't still true. As a matter of fact, we're talking about some of the crazy shit that he's doing right now. So it's not like they lied to you. It's not like they lied to you. The fault that they have, the fault that a lot of these Democrats have, is that they have been true to the protocols. They have been true to the institutions. They believe in the institutions. And they have been trying to preserve the institutions. And you juxtapose that with Donald Trump, who does not give a fuck about the institutions at all. Right? Now, you juxtapose that even further with some rappers who come from communities who overwhelmingly do not like this motherfucker. Again, 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris. 80% of black men voted for Kamala Harris. The vast majority of black people do not fuck with Donald Trump. 28% of you motherfuckers voted for this bitch, though. Okay? So when the vast majority of our people don't fuck with this dude, don't be mad at the people for being mad at this dude, or these artists who come from the community, who got rich off of the community, who were propped up off of the community, and then they get to a point where, they no longer need the community for their livelihood, and then they just say, fuck the community. That's not hypocrisy, dude. And that's the one thing about Charlemagne the God, man, that I've never really quite respected, and I never really understood why so many people were holding this dude up as some sort of political purveyor of, like, why we were even listening to this nigga when it came to politics. I never understood why. I mean, I get that their platform is large, and by virtue of the platform being large and being in front of so many millions of listeners, then people feel like they have to come speak to this nigga. But there's nothing that tells me that this nigga knows anything about politics other than saying some shit to get people riled up. And much the same way, I guess he's getting riled up right now. But ultimately, I've never respected this nigga's political acumen whatsoever. I've never respected the false equivalencies that this nigga would have. That's a false equivalency he's drawing right there. Dumb niggas went to go get paid. Barack Obama went there because he felt like he was fulfilling an obligation as a former president of the United States. Same thing with Joe Biden. When they feel like they have to uphold the Constitution, when they feel like they have to uphold the institutions that make this country what it is. And to compare that with some niggas who went out to go get some money with some people that don't really respect them much at all. Come on, man. It's a false fucking equivalency.
Oh, when I said that on Twitter over the weekend, I'm still getting dragged. They said because Obama has to do that as a policy.
He doesn't have to do it. Trump didn't do it 4 years ago.
Exactly. Trump said the election. Trump said the election was stolen in 2020, and then he acted like it. He didn't do no peaceful transfer of power. He didn't show up to the inauguration because why?
And what did people do to Donald Trump? They clown the fuck out of Donald Trump. Many of the people who are like kissing his ass now didn't want anything to do with him then. Donald Trump was politically dead to a large degree. Until, of course, Kevin McCarthy went down there to Mar-a-Lago and, kind of softened the blow on that. And then, there was Mitch McConnell who decided, to vote against convicting Donald Trump for the charges of what happened on January 6th. And in large part is responsible for the reasons why we have someone like a Donald Trump even being eligible as a fucking felon to be president of the United States today. So yeah, we could be upset at the institutions. We could be upset with the people who are, who have been stewards of this institution, right? But also understand that when you understand everything that's happened up until this point, listening to this nigga with the false equivalency about, well, Donald Trump did this and, he stood on business. And like a lot of y'all on the stand on business shit, like, yeah, he did this shit and he was pilloried for that shit. He was pilloried for that shit. Now we just it's like this part here, this part here is where we start devolving into going lower and lower and lower and lower. And I know like everybody wants to say, they're petty, they're the petty king or whatever, petty LaBelle, all these sorts of things. But ultimately, the reasons what we're witnessing now is the establishment of new norms. But being mad at the old guard for trying to hold on to the old guard and doing old guard things while we're watching niggas who just a few short years ago called niggas jigaboos for going to support Donald Trump or perform in front of Donald Trump and then go forth and do it himself. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Stop that shit.
How would you ever show up to an inauguration after you just accused a bunch of people of stealing an election? Democrats could learn a thing or two from that. And if you ask me, all that smoke you have for the rappers, you should have for Obama. You should have for Biden and all the other elected officials who got us all riled up and scared only to turn around and have tea with a man they likened to Hitler. Like literally just was having tea with him yesterday. I would respect it more if folks was consistent and they gave Obama and Biden smoke, but I didn't see none of that. But y'all mad at Nelly and Snoop?
Yeah, they're mad at Nelly and Snoop because people understand the difference. This is the false equivalency, and it's much the same way we were talking about Lord Jamar a couple days ago when it came to him, debating a fucking scientist over whether or not the earth is round or flat. And him being the living embodiment of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Well, Lord Jamar vastly overestimates his level of knowledge, right? Vastly overestimates his level of knowledge. Is totally unaware of how much he does not know. And when he's up against someone who does have a knowledge base, is someone who is also aware of, they know that there's some things that they don't know, but they're aware of what they don't know. I think when it comes to like Charlemagne the God, we witness this, especially in his political, critique oftentimes. He often is not aware of what it is he doesn't know. But that doesn't stop him from getting on the microphone in front of millions and spewing this bullshit. And unfortunately, when you have a platform that large, you affect how you can have some level of effect on how other people are thinking about this shit too. And so now they are now walking around with the same flawed logic that he's walking around with. And, we're, now this shit gets perpetuated over and over again. And this is how we get a nation filled with people who think that it's okay to reelect a motherfucker who tried to overthrow the government the last time they were in office. This is how it happens, man. That's how it happens. Team US 2K is in the chat room. They had something to say. They said half the time Charlemagne be speaking out his ass. This much is true. This much we know to be true. All right, let me play a little bit more of this, I guess.
Nelly and Snoop don't hold more weight than Biden and Obama. Like that, honestly, those performances are inconsequential. But what are people going to remember 2 years from now in midterms or 4 years from now when it's another presidential election? They're going to remember when, oh, you told us these were you liking this guy to Hitler and this guy was a threat to democracy, but then we saw you showing all your teeth with him.
No, what they're going to remember is they're going to remember that like all of the shit that that Barack Obama and Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton and even Liz Cheney was trying to warn y'all about. What they're going to remember is y'all tried to warn us about this shit. We didn't listen. Now look at all this shit we going through. Oh my God. That's what they're going to remember. That's what they're going to remember. Because I'm going to be honest with you right now. You're going to be like, yeah, I had to sit with the nigga, but I told you not to vote for him. We tried to warn your dumb ass. We tried to tell you, man, we was on the campaign trail for months, nigga. We was out here in all the damn union halls. We was at all the bingo halls. We went to all the VFWs, man. We was out here at the Five Guys. We was out here at the McDonald's, nigga. We went to the car washes. We was everywhere. We had our sleeves rolled up. We was trying to tell you motherfuckers, but y'all ain't want to listen. Here we are 2 days into this damn Donald Trump presidency 2.0. And niggas are already losing their shit over over all the executive orders and shit that Donald Trump is filling in. Project 2025, shit motherfuckers tried to warn people about for the whole goddamn presidential campaign. They are implementing this shit from day one, and niggas are acting surprised. They thought it was bullshit. Oh, no, man, that's just some propaganda, man. Y'all talking about, y'all just trying to scare me into voting, man. You can't scare me into voting, nigga. You can't guilt me into voting for the Democrats, nigga. It's two sides of the same coin. All right, two sides, all right. There's two sides, nigga. When you find out what the other side of this two sides shit is, though, don't nobody want to hear that shit from you. Ain't nobody gonna want to hear from you. So yeah, man, this nigga crazy, bro. This nigga
at a funeral. And not only that, when he sat there and pretty much peed on your whole last 4 years in front of your face, and you did absolutely positively nothing.
They
booed
Obama when he walked out, y'all.
Yo, they did. President Biden did preemptive pardons yesterday for his whole family, for Dr. Fauci, for the January 6th committee, because he feels like Donald Trump is a threat to them and a danger to them. But then he turned right around and had tea with him before the.
You know why he did that? You worried about the tea. You worried about the fucking, you worried about the minutia of the protocols of the transition to power. Like, that man don't have an incoming FBI director who blatantly stated that he was going to come after that man's family. That he had a list of people in the government that he was coming after. And then you start seeing people on the right talking about how, Joe Biden giving all these pardons just means that, we don't want to hear anything from the Democrats when it comes time to for Donald Trump to start handing out blanket pardons. It's like, yeah, Donald Trump is already handing out pardons to people we know committed crimes in front of everybody. That was the first thing he did was pardon the January 6th motherfuckers. We know. Everybody saw these niggas do this shit in broad daylight. They caught them niggas in 4K, dog. Caught them in 4K. And yet and still, Donald Trump, on his very first day, he's out here letting criminals out. Now, you can't tell me you for criminal reform, or you can't tell me you are about back in the blue when the Fraternal Order of Police is mad that you let these motherfuckers out, which is ironic because the Fraternal Order of Police endorsed fucking Donald Trump. Oh, shit. Oh, damn, it ain't even working. Damn, we out here having technical difficulties again. Let me try that again. There we go. That's the sound for the technical difficulties and the shit that the damn FOP was out here talking. Because y'all voted for this motherfucker. He did something against y'all ass. I guess y'all voted for that. We can't really have much sympathy for you. Right? I saw some shit earlier today where they were talking about ICE being in Dearborn, Michigan. Hey, man, Trump won Dearborn, Michigan. I guess that's what y'all wanted. Same thing in Hamtramck, Michigan. Hamtramck's mayor was out here endorsing Donald Trump and shit. Those folks voted for that man. I guess that's what y'all wanted. Right? It's at a point now, man, where we got to just be sober-minded and aware of when niggas like this are talking, or bring, false equivalency in you to death. And also not being so overwhelmed by the amount of bullshit that is going to come our way. Pick and choose your spots, but don't allow for these next 4 years to drive you up a motherfucking wall, because that is exactly what they want. And with this sort of political analysis going out to the vast majority of folk, man, yeah, it's not good. It's not good. So, yeah, man, that's it, man. I actually was on here longer than I thought I would be. I didn't think this would be that that long of a show. But I appreciate you guys in the chat room giving me something to talk about other than the shit that I was going to talk about, right? So again, man, y'all are a part of this, man, and I'm appreciative of the folks who fuck with me, because I fuck with y'all heavy too, man. Real talk. It's about time for me to get on up out of here, though. So before we get on up out of here, let me remind y'all how to get in touch with your man Spann here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. This area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You niggas ain't called up here, man. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Right? The number is there. The number's goddamn there. No. But no, man, leave a voicemail. Area code 313-288-0485. You can also hit me up at Bluesky. My name on Bluesky is mrspann.bsky.social. That's mrspann.bsky.social. Go ahead, hit me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. I am also on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there also and chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Go to our YouTube page, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. You will get alerted when we go live. If you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, you can leave comments over there on our videos, man. You can leave us a thumbs up just to, help us with the algorithms and whatnot. Like and subscribe, comment, that whole joint. It really helps us with that. And it also helps us with the watch hours, baby. With the watch hours, we're trying to get the watch hours so we can monetize this. Because let me also clarify something too. Because we had I forget my man's name right now. Rick, my man Rick, was in here a couple weeks ago, and he asked about super chats, and he asked where he could do the super chat. I don't have a button for the super chat, and the reason why I don't have a button for the super chat is because I can't monetize this channel yet. I haven't reached enough watch hours. We got enough subscribers on the channel. Right? I got enough videos on the channel. I ain't got enough watch hours. So we need the watch hours. And so if you guys want to help me with that, with the watch hours, and you want to contribute with money or with like a super chat or something like that, we got to get the watch hours up. So this is why we're going to be having some of these shorter episodes so that we can, we can facilitate that so you guys can help out in that way. And I really do appreciate you guys who are willing to help out in that way, man. Real talk. Also, Spotify, iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety, man. And I got a couple more comments here. And all right. Let's see. Team US. We appreciate your show. Hey, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all, man. Real talk. I mean, honestly, man, if it wasn't for the listeners, y'all think I would still be doing this? I mean, I probably would. I've been like, this is like therapy for me, to be honest with y'all. So we got that going on. But I appreciate you guys, and I really do appreciate you guys' support, man. Real talk. But I'm about to get on up out of here. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.